Yesterday, for the first time in many, many years, human beings launched to go to the moon. And I don't want to be overly dramatic about it, but at the same time, it's one of the coolest things that humanity has ever done. Something that gets me incredibly excited. It's also more incredible when you start to learn about all the things that NASA, in particular, has had to go through to keep itself afloat. How many mistakes have been made? If you think about, I wasn't alive during the Challenger times, but it's pretty incredible to think that even after a company, or I guess not a company, an organization, ended up killing a bunch of American citizens, that they were allowed to continue working. And now, all these years later, we're going back. And for me, this is something of an inspiration. I love space. I think it's incredible. I wish I could go to space. I'm unfortunately not the right qualifications for it, but seeing others achieve the dream and knowing how much effort it actually takes to do it is something that really inspires me. It's a kind of mind-boggling thing when you start looking into all that is required for the simplicity of just doing a pass-by on space. They're not even going to the moon. Like, they're basically getting slingshotted around it. There's nothing, they're not stopping, they're going to take a flyby, and for some people that might be kind of weird, but at the same time it's one of the most incredible pieces of engineering that is probably ever done by humanity. Um, the math alone is simple, but not at the same time. Like, and when you see it laid out in a graph, and you see how it's just this little loop that goes around the Earth, and oh, gravity just pulls it back and it sends it right back, and you're like, wow, that seems so simple, but it's not. And I don't want to make this comparison, but this is the 5th time that I have tried to fix this double place spawner. These guys are the bane of my existence. There is nothing more frustrating than working on this stupid project for the 5th time. My first design didn't work, my second design didn't work, my third design didn't work, and now I'm here after trying to fix it. I'm thinking I had the solution, and I had to tear it all down. And maybe, just maybe, this time, what I'll do will work. I'm not fully confident yet that it will, but I want it to. I want it to work really bad. I want to succeed in what I meant to do. I did not mean to do that. But that's part of the process. You do a lot of things you don't meant to do. You end up starting with what you thought would be a nice, pretty box with glass and surrounded by deep slate. You know, it's simple, it's utilitarian, but it's you know, it has some charm to it. And then you can quickly see how quick I became patchworking and adjusting and grabbing things. You can see my leftover scaffolding. And again, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not even someone who really understands space much more than it looks really cool and I appreciate the math that's being done. But I think that's the beauty of space exploration. That's the beauty of an institution like NASA. As much as sometimes I hear people say it's pointless, I think that's kind of the point, is that sometimes we do things even though it's really hard and it doesn't matter and there's no real point to go to the moon. We don't need to go to the moon. We know a lot of information about the moon just from our satellites. We could send unmanned people to the moon. There's no reason for us to send, well, there's not no reason, but there's lots of arguments to be made that would point that we don't need to send human-manned spacecraft to the moon, but we do it anyways because we can and because there's a challenge. And to me, while this Blaze Farm is not a moon launch, and it's not even remotely comparable. That's what's really impressive about everything that has been going on when it comes to the Artemis 2 launch, is that hopefully, if it inspires someone like me, who is just trying to rebuild a blaze farm for the 5th time, even though he already has a blaze farm that already works just fine, and this thing doesn't really matter at all, and it's purely a vanity project at this point, it feels like. But it's not. It's not a vanity project. We're not going to the moon just because it's cool. We're going to the moon because it's hard, and because we want to prove that we can, and that humanity, for all of its flaws and for all of its failures, does one thing well, and that's that we work to improve. And maybe we don't succeed 9 times out of 10, but let me tell you, when we do, it's incredible.